Welcome, folks. I'm Jaby Koay, joined by ACHARA KIRK.
Hi, guys.
It's early in the morning, and Star Wars The Rise of the Skywalker D23 special look trailer has dropped. Here we go.
We've passed on all we know. 1,000 generations live in you now. But this is your fight. Your journey. Here's its end.
What?
I knew about that last shot coming. I deliberately didn't tell you about it because I wanted to see your face. Because I read about the trailer, I'm like, that can't be right. And it's there. And I'm like, how does that work? And there's a theory that it's just what do you call it? Not a fantasy, but like a dream, like a nightmare kind of thing. Just like in The Empire Strikes Back, for instance, when Luke went into the cave and he saw himself in Darth Vader's mask, right? It was a vision. That's the word I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
Something you don't have much of it in the early morning. Yeah, he basically had a vision, and so it's quite possible that maybe she's got a vision or something, but I don't know. That's a very oddly specific vision to have, that she's got this dual lightsaber thing
Yeah,
going
I mean
on.
that was super cool.
Yeah.
Very reminiscent of my fave, Darth Maul. But is she going towards the dark side? Is that a storyline?
Well, there's all kinds of explanations you can come up with. Another explanation, this is just a random one that just popped in my head, is that they duplicated her or something
What?
weird. Like, who knows? Who knows how that happens? Or maybe she actually genuinely goes dark. Obviously, that's the point, is to just, tease you and make you wonder and start conversation.
Yeah.
Which it's doing a good job of. It genuinely is awesome how they showed you from, like, the beginning of the prequels. Like, they're bringing this revitalization to the prequels that's pretty cool, in my opinion. It's giving new life to the prequels is what I'm saying. So, like, now they're giving you reason to go back and look at the prequels in a way. Or it's just showing you the old stuff, going, look at all this stuff and look at now, but-
The latter is kind of what I was going for. Like, I mean, it's cool because it's kind of trying to link it all together, bring it around full circle, and
But it's
all
wrapping
that.
up 8 stories, right? It's wrapping up 8 stories up to now. I'm pretty sure they're gonna bring in stuff from the old films.
Of course.
In its own way, I'm sure they are.
Do you think they're gonna bring in footage from the old films? Is that what you're saying?
They're gonna bring in stuff that's like, I'm pretty sure if you go back and watch them, you'll find references or hints to all 6 or all 8 previous movies. The name, initially, I was like, what does this name mean, Rise of the Skywalker? And I was thinking that maybe Luke comes back or something like that, or that she's a Skywalker. But Rise of the Skywalker could mean that she is a Skywalker and becoming, like, rising as a Sith Lord.
Right, fulfilling that legacy, because that's the history that's
Yeah.
been told before.
I don't know. Obviously, this is all speculation and conjecture from two people who know half as much of Star Wars as most of the people watching this reaction.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to make sense of that, but I don't know. You think the only reason to go and show you all that stuff is to say we're wrapping this up, goodbye? Like that's the only reason to show you all those all that old footage? I feel like the reason to show you all that old footage is to let you know that there's gonna be, this 9th film has a lot of work to do. It has a heavy load on its shoulders because it has to wrap up so much, like it's the last one. It's the last of these stories. This has to be amazing is all I'm saying. Like, and it looks, what visuals they are giving us from this story and not the previous stories look really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
Like obviously it's like super cool seeing all the Star Destroyers show up like that, and the epic what do you call that? Where they're fighting on the, I don't know what that is. They're fighting on some kind of thing that's in the water. It's just very dramatic, And I think that looks pretty cool. Outside of really cool visuals, we don't really have much of a sense of the story as to what's going on, other than Rey has to fight Kylo Ren. I wonder about everything. Like, it's gonna be a longer movie because it's got so much story left to like finish out. Like, not only are we talking about like all 8 movies, but like the last 2 specifically, there's just been this kind of weird handoff of stories, and now it's got to like complete all the stuff from that as well.
Right.
But maybe it'll do a Breaking Bad and find a simple solution to all of it, and it's like, oh, I guess that worked, and you just kind of like, it does make sense, and it wraps itself up in a nice, neat little bow in a very unexpected way. I mean, that was my feeling with Breaking Bad.
I have faith in J.J. Abrams. I think that he's a skilled enough director and storyteller that he can find a way to wrap it up in a nice way that hopefully will be satisfying to fans as well. I don't know. It's one of those things where Star Wars is just so epic. Mm-hmm. Is any conclusion going to be a satisfactory conclusion for anyone?
I think there's definitely going to be... that's a good question. I feel like the answer is no. Like, I feel like more than... That's a tough one. Because J.J. Abrams is great at eliciting that nostalgic feeling, mm-hmm. right? Like, you go back and watch this movie that feels just like a Spielberg movie out of the 80s, and it was about an alien.
Super 8?
Super 8, yeah. You go back and watch that, and the commercial and everything, it elicits that feeling of, like, excitement. Oh, like, it's mm-hmm. just like Spielberg. And then you go and watch it, and at the end, you're like, oh, that's cool. That was cool. That's how I felt at the end of the movie, was like, that was neat. I don't know that it gave me the feeling that I was looking for that I expected when I got there.
Right.
That's sort of what I experienced with Force Awakens, where it was like, that was cool. I don't know that was the feeling I was looking for that I expected when I got there, though. It's one of those things where at the time, I was actually people thought I was hard on the movie with what I said about it. But even now, people are starting to finally be a little bit more objective about it.
Right.
Because more people seem to like that more than they liked the last one. Mm-hmm. I personally liked The Last Jedi. I mean, I liked both of them. I liked Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. But I know this is not going to make everybody happy, but I appreciated The Last Jedi more than Force Awakens just because it was actually doing new things. I know that they pissed a lot of people off with some of the risks they were taking. That's what I'm saying is J.J. Abrams has to deal with that conundrum of like, well, he handed it off to another director, and which went that way, and he's like, we're gonna pull it back this way now.
Right. It's a tall order, I think, because Star Wars is so precious to so many people, and there are probably so many people who maybe know the stories and the franchise inside and out, even more than some of the people working on the movie.
Right, exactly. And you hit the nail on the head. It's a tall order to wrap up all that stuff. Those last 2 films alone, it's like that's a situation. So it looks cool, is all I can say. I mean, and J.J. Abrams knows how to sell, and I just hope to answer your earlier question that somehow he found a way with the other writers he worked with to really complete this story in a fulfilling way. I mean, I'm pretty sure J.J. Abrams cares about that more than anybody. I mean, he didn't even want to do Star Wars to begin with because he wasn't sure that he could pull it off.
Right.
I'm pretty sure no one cares more than him about not disappointing fans. For him, it's a lot of pressure. I kind of feel bad for the guy because I think no matter what, people are going to be like, oh, but it wasn't this. And then, you know, you might have a Game of Thrones do-over kind of situation on your hands.
Yeah, that's the fear.
But it's like, no matter what, this is it, man. Like, this is the last movie. They're wrapping it up, and then they're moving on to different things in the Star Wars universe, which is in itself is exciting as well. To say the least, I'm excited, and it looks great. Lots of questions. And here, so you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Be sure to check out ACHARA KIRK on social media as well as the Jabs if you feel like doing that. Check out our other reactions, reviews, short films, vlogs, interviews. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.